This is an incredible governing victory for the Biden-Harris administration. We only found out about it today, but it took 2 years to get here. What did it take to secure this release?
It took a huge amount of negotiations, close engagement with the families, in-person and direct negotiations with a whole range of different allied countries, from Germany to Slovenia to Turkey, obviously to Russia as well, and a very delicate balance of the different elements of this package. There were so many different prisoners who were released from different prisons in Western countries and from Russia. So this is a towering accomplishment of diplomacy by the Biden-Harris administration. Vice President Harris, as you just reported, during the Munich Security Conference in February, had in-person meetings with critical leaders like German Chancellor Olaf Scholz. President Biden was engaged in this personally right up to the very hour that he announced he was not going to be a candidate for president this fall. So it has taken dedicated and personal work by our president and vice president, by our national security advisor, by Roger Carstens, the special presidential envoy for hostage affairs, by the Secretary of State, the CIA director. There were many, many folks actively engaged in this over several years.
I want to talk to you about July 21st in a moment, but Donald Trump has criticized the deal, of course. Here's what he said during the debate with the president in June.
We have a hostage, a Wall Street Journal reporter, I think a good guy, and he's over there because Putin is laughing at this guy. I said, by literally, as soon as I win the election, I will have that reporter out.
So, Senator, President Biden obviously knew a deal was close and couldn't say. But what do you read into Vladimir Putin's agreeing to the prisoner exchange now?
Well, first, what former President Trump said is just flat out not true. Paul Whelan, the Marine, was taken prisoner by the Russians while President Trump was in office. The idea that somehow this reflects on Putin's respect for one or disrespect for another is just another of former President Trump's outlandish and unhinged assertions. I do think that this shows that President Biden and Vice President Harris and their team are masterful negotiators, that they were able to fine-tune what were the different exchanges necessary to secure the release of these Americans and Russian freedom fighters.
So, Senator Coons, you spoke to President Biden on July 21st, the day he stepped aside, while securing the release of the detainees. What can you tell us about that conversation?
Well, look, parts of it I'm just going to keep private, but he wanted to thank me for my loyalty and my engagement and my hard work, and I thanked him for his incredible service and leadership. He called me just moments before it was announced that he was going to step aside and endorse Vice President Harris. As you've seen in the nearly 2 weeks since, there's been a real energy and an engagement by volunteers, by donors, by Democratic Party activists, as well as just average voters all over the country who've been caught up in the excitement about Vice President Harris, who will soon be our nominee at the Democratic Convention in August. I expect that we will also take time at our convention to recognize and thank President Biden for his more than 50 years of public service and for his incredible leadership at home and abroad. His expertise, his deep knowledge, his relationships with leaders around the world is what has made possible a whole series of his significant steps forward, whether it's building partnerships in the Indo-Pacific, like the AUKUS partnership for nuclear submarines, or the trilateral partnership between Japan, South Korea, and the United States, or his marshaling 50 countries from around the world to support Ukraine. He's done a huge amount. And if I might, Jonathan, for one more moment, as these folks newly released from prison are welcomed home, President Biden and Vice President Harris, they've done their part, their team's done their part. Congress has some unfinished work to do. I have 2 bipartisan bills to make sure that when Americans detained overseas are returned home, they aren't greeted by a downgrading in their credit score and a letter from the IRS with fines and fees. I first learned about this from Jason Rezaian, the Washington Post reporter who spent a year and a half in an Iranian prison. And when Jason came home, the first thing he got from our government was a letter from the IRS saying he owed thousands of dollars in fines and fees for his unpaid taxes. It turns out that Congress has to act in order to waive those fines and fees. And so I have a bipartisan bill with Senator Rounds that has cleared the Senate. We are waiting for the House to act. And I have a bipartisan bill with Senator Tillis to restore the credit rating of anyone who's been wrongfully detained. Paul Whelan, the Marine who has spent more than 6 years in a Russian prison, is a classic example of someone who obviously has a ruined credit score because of his years of unjust imprisonment overseas. I want to get this over the finish line so that Congress can contribute to welcoming home these American heroes who have now finally been freed from their overly long ordeal of being imprisoned in Russia.
Senator Coons, I did not know that that they were hit with those two things coming home from prison. You have to keep me posted on that. One more question for you. You serve on the Foreign Relations Committee, and you served in the Senate with Vice President Harris when she represented California. Talk to me about how you think she will continue this kind of collaborative work versus Donald Trump's style of "I alone can fix it."
I am confident that Vice President Harris, who has been side by side with President Biden in meetings with more than 140 different world leaders, and who gave a strong and stirring speech at the Munich Security Conference, both this year and last year, has a clear-eyed view of our place in the world and the importance of allies. President Biden, based on his many years of experience, respects and recognizes that the United States is safer, stronger, and more prosperous because of our global network of allies and partners. Russia, China, they only have each other, and Iran and the North Korean regime. These 4 authoritarian regimes are trying to come together to stand up to the global alliances, the networks of shared values and shared priorities that the United States has built over the last 70 years. I'm confident that Kamala Harris, as our president, starting this November after the election, will continue that wise and long tradition of American leadership through the strength of alliances and partnerships.
Senator Chris Coons of Delaware, thank you very much for coming to The Last Word.
Thank you, Jonathan.